الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه أما بعد. To continue with our series discussing belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as I mentioned yesterday, we are yet in what would be a general introduction to the topic, to the main topic, which we haven't yet began, but from tomorrow inshallah we will begin with the main subject matter. So we are discussing the importance of studying this belief and the practical benefits that come with that. So far we have mentioned 4 practical benefits, okay? And I will go through them very quickly so that we can keep on reminding ourselves. And reminding doesn't do any harm. It encourages and motivates us. We said number 1, it's the most important subject. It's the most important knowledge to be sought, because Iman is the foundation and it's the structure upon which everything is built, with which everything is valid, without which everything is null and void, it's meaningless, it's purposeless, it's baseless. And when this Iman seeps into the heart and it takes root deep down into our hearts, then it expels every filth, every evil, and it makes someone be a steadfast person, a person with a firm resolution, etc. And number 2, we said of the practical benefits is that the heart have actions. The hearts have actions. And these actions may earn one his admittance into Jannah. And we mentioned the hadith of the man who loved Surah Al-Ikhlas. Because of his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said and assured him that Jannah is granted to him. Point number 3, speaking about the actions of the heart, the major sins are divided into 2 categories. The major sins of the limbs and the major sins of the heart. And the major sins of the heart are greater in consequence than the major sins of our limbs. I give an example. If a person who does not pray salah, and he knows that it is impermissible, he is engaging in an act of haram, that's one thing. And it's quite another for a person who does not even drink a drop of alcohol, he does not even pray, and he believes that there isn't anything like the obligation of abstaining from haram, from alcohol, or there's nothing like salah being obligatory. This is kufr outrightly. This is outright kufr. So you also get to understand that. Number 4, we said Iman was revealed in order to be a test, whether we will believe in it or not, whether we will submit to the truth or we won't submit to the truth. So it's a test. And today the last benefit that we'll speak about, the last practical benefit, and most likely this is the most important of all the above. And I want you to pay deep attention to this. Point number 5 is that the study of Iman, of this knowledge, will guard and it will armor the hearts of those who work for Islam, number 1, and most importantly, our youth and our teenagers and our young ones of this generation, specifically those of this generation. Why am I saying that? Many a times, dear Muslims, our youth get pulled away because they actually really don't know what they believe about. Hence, they feel and they perceive that their religion is as controversial and as baseless as other religions. Wal-'iyadhu billah. And at times, their religiosity fails when they are faced with challenges. Because Iman was not deeply ingrained within them, whenever a storm blows, whenever a challenge comes across their way, they are blown hither and thither. And this is extremely important to understand. And with this, I would want to clarify a very, very important point, a fallacy and a misconception. A lot of the youth of our times, a lot of the university students, they think that science and philosophy is a challenge to religion. And the presence of current science and modern philosophy and technology and the advancement of the world, because of whatever reasons, is a threat to religion. And it is a replacement for religion. Dear Muslims, understand this. Science was never, is never, and will never be a threat to religion. Philosophy will never be a threat to religion. And I am amazed by the students who have just studied one term of philosophy. Barely have they even done the introduction to philosophy, and you will hear them speaking as if they're intellectual individuals, only if they saw themselves how obnoxious they sound. Where is philosophy and where is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes, modern philosophers have rejected the religion, and we will discuss about that. Pre-modern philosophers never rejected religion. Pre-modern scientists never rejected religion, including Darwin himself. Even the book that he wrote, that is a case for the argument of evolution, at the end, he makes a case for religion, and he makes a case for the existence of God himself, and where evolution, his theory, falls. And you can reference his book. It was never a threat. What has happened now? What has happened now? It is never a threat, and never will it be a threat. Science will always make you more firm in your belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't believe me? One of the fields that faces the greatest development when it comes to medical science, when it comes to science, is medicine. Ask the senior doctors whom we enjoy their presence in our masjid. They're even present here, and I can see them. Dr. Lewing, Dr. Waris, Dr. Hashim, Dr. Sokwala, Dr. Juzar. These are doctors who are respected for their intellectual acumen in the respective fields. And I've heard this from their own mouths. I'm not putting these words into their mouth. Ask them what the study of human anatomy did to their iman. What the study of embryology did to their iman. It increased them in iman. It made them even more firm in their iman. So science is never a threat to religion. But atheism has creeped into the hearts of our current generation. Why? Not because it's a threat to Islam, because of an underlying spiritual condition. What is that? Ignorance and arrogance. Ignorance and arrogance. Because most of the generation now is being brought up under families, and the parents are guilty of this. And I'm sorry if I come across bluntly, dear parents, but I want you to take note of this. It's because we have not brought them up with the correct tarbiyah. We have not ingrained and instilled within their hearts the correct iman. So when they're faced with challenges, when a storm hits them, they're blown hither and thither. Ignorance and arrogance. Some people are educated. They have even studied Islam, and they know that Islam is the truth. And they know Islam is the truth, but they choose to deny it in spite of their hearts knowing deep down that this is the truth. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًا. Out of arrogance, they rejected the truth, in spite of the fact them knowing it is the truth. So listen to this, dear respected parents. And I always say this, we ought and we got to protect our families with Islam, and protect Islam with our families. What does that mean? Protect our families with Islam, instill and cultivate Islamic cultures in our children. And Islam will automatically be protected with our families. And bear in mind, after this being said, Islam will always prosper, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined it to be the successful religion up to the end of times. With or without us, Islam will prosper. With or without us, Islam will prosper. It's about us to jump into this bandwagon of success, or for it to leave us behind, and what is left for us if not for doom. So remember that, because our children have got no idea what Iman is, they are washed away when they study these basic subjects. Hence, let this be a serious motivator for us to take this knowledge seriously. And for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow this tree of Iman to take deep root within our hearts, and for it to thrive therein, and allow us to water it with the correct knowledge. Inshallah, from tomorrow now we begin the main subject after this very detailed introduction for all these days. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.